what I can't stand? The fish police. Yep. And y'all know who you are too. You think you got these big tanks and you're better than everybody else? Well, guess what? You're not. You give out bad advice. You need to stop. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We see it every day. Somebody posts a pic of their brand new aquarium and it's cloudy. What's the first thing people say? What are your parameters, right? Maybe your tank's going through a cycle. That's the normal thing to say. The fish police don't say that. Here's what the fish police say. That tank's too small. You need a bigger tank. What kind of fish do you have in there? When's the last time you cleaned the filter? Did you quarantine that fish first? Another comment that really got under my skin. One person said they were downsizing. They had 3 aquariums. They only said what size one was, and it was a 75-gallon, right? They said that they had an Oscar and that they had 2 blood parrotfish. They wanted to get rid of 2 of their aquariums so that they could buy more stuff to filtrate the other aquarium, the 75, and wanted to know if it was okay to keep their 1 Oscar and their 2 blood parrotfish in the 75-gallon. You talking about some roasting going on? Man, you would have thought it was a barbecue up in that chat room. You hear me? They scolded them for that. No, you can't do that. You can't do this. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can very much so keep 1 Oscar and 2 blood parrots in a 75-gallon aquarium. They'll have plenty of swim around room. Will there be aggression? Probably. Probably not. Which gets me to my next thing about water changes. And all you fish police out there are really gonna love this one. Y'all look at there. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Oscars, 2 ballast sharks, and a really big common pleco back there in the back. Yep, 75-gallon, 5 Oscars, 2 ballast sharks. Fish keeping ain't rocket science, people. You don't even need a degree in chemistry. But I tell you something, you go to PetSmart and you run across a lady trying to give advice to 2 young girls about a fish in cycle on a goldfish in a bowl, and you try to help her or those girls, and you let one of them tell you, oh, well, she's a marine biologist. She knows what she's talking about. Really? She knows the quickest and best way to torture a fish is what she knows. And then the subject of water changes come into play on another thread. Y'all see this aquarium behind me? Everybody was talking about how they do water changes. How much water do you change? How often do you change it? I do 50% every week. This aquarium is a good example why. It's also a good example why I can keep 50 nanofish in a 20-gallon tub. It's heavily planted. I have 2 filters instead of just 1. And all my fish are doing just fine. Well, somebody tried to say that they only do a water change once a month because doing a water change every week crashed their cycle. No, it didn't. The chemicals you're using crashed your cycle. Look how pretty that tank is. I haven't had a dead fish yet. Not one. Every week, like clockwork, I drain it down about right here. That's more than 50%. I just say 50% because I take the top and the bottom and I put the water line somewhere in here. But truth be known, that's probably about 60 or 70% because the rocks take up space. The sand takes up space. The plants, they take up space. That's why. So if you want to be a smarty tart and ask me why I do 50% water changes on my aquariums every week, maybe you should watch my channel. You'll see why. Another reason why I do 50% water changes every week. I'm not going to wait till some chemically dipped test strip tells me that, oh, you need to do a water change because your nitrate levels are high, or, oh, you need to add more chemicals because you got ammonia. Nope. As a matter of fact, my Oscars, they were starting to show aggression toward each other. I had them paired off. I had just 2 Oscars in this tank. They started fighting each other. I moved them 2 out, put them in another tank, put the 3 little ones in here. They still weren't happy. They started fighting. I moved all the stuff out of this aquarium except for the 2 ballast sharks, the pleco, and then put all 5 Oscars in my aquarium, and guess what? They don't fight anymore. Imagine that. So if you're a newbie in the fish hobby and you want some really good advice from some really good fish keepers, come over to FishTubers Notifications on Facebook. Subscribe to some of the channels that you see in that group and you will get all the advice you need. Take everything else with a grain of salt. Just throw it right on out, because half of the people out there just got their aquarium and they just learned about the nitrogen cycle, and now they're trying to bash you, a beginner, because you haven't learned about it yet. And you took some crappy advice from that pet store employee that doesn't even like to stick their hands in the water. So for all you fish police out there who just think that you got these bigger, fancier aquariums, and I'm talking about you 10-gallon beta fish keepers also. Y'all know who I'm talking about. You think your 10 gallons better than Joe Blow's 2.5 gallon? You're wrong. Joe Blow's 2.5 gallon probably gets regular water changes, and not just once a month. So you can sit there and take that 10 gallon and shove it, buddy. Don't fish police me. Stop fish policing everybody else. Unless you got the Amazon River running through your backyard, or you're 10 feet from the damn ocean, and that's where you keep your fish. Don't bash somebody else. Try to educate other people on why a bigger aquarium is better. But like I said about that one person that had the 3 aquariums that wanted to downsize to just 1 aquarium for 1 Oscar fish and 2 parrots, that 75 gallon was fine. Now, I mean, sure, they may later want to upgrade, but there is no reason to act like your 125 is better than their 75, because their parameters are probably spot on and yours are all over the place, because I've seen your questions also. Yep, I sure have. Stop fish policing. Well, I tell you what, you want to make the fish police mad? Tell them to Google it. Because we all know that they didn't Google it. So for all you fish police out there who want to bash somebody, especially a beginner in the hobby, when we all know you're a beginner also, and you just asked the same question last week, please stop. Okay? Just please stop. Nobody's aquarium is big enough for the fish that they have. Those are facts. Will they live in a bigger aquarium and do better in a bigger aquarium? They sure will. But there ain't a person, I take that back. Rich at Ohio Fish Rescue, his aquariums are big enough for him to be making comments like, your aquarium's not big enough. King and Queen Cichlids, Scott and Liz, Their aquariums are big enough to tell you your aquarium's not big enough. But even then, their aquarium is small considering where these fish actually come from. They come from big bodies of water that's on this earth. The aquarium was not meant to be what it is. It was meant to showcase fish whenever you had company coming over. That is where the goldfish in the bowl originated. Look it up. Peace.